Hello there, Lee Cunningham here, Managing Director of Overhead Solutions, brand owners of GOALBAND.co.uk. It's all about achieving your goals, your financial goals, relationships, self-development, career, basically anything that you want to achieve in life. But I'm not here to talk about that, I'm here to talk about this. Earlier this morning I was recording a video on Think and Grow Rich, and it kind of got me thinking about my own personal story. It's nothing, you know, I'm not going to claim to be a millionaire or anything like that. I am properly down to earth. I'm just a regular guy. But if you'd have kind of known me before I started reading this book, then you'd have known that I was nowhere near kind of like the level of achievement that I am today. And it's all to do with the 13 principles that are inside that book. But here's one story that I wanted to share with you today. I did mention on that other video that I was unhappy for about 3 years whilst I was working for a borough council. It just wasn't authentically me, if that makes sense. I was terrible at the job, although I'm quite an intelligent person, you know. Whilst I was at that job, I took a sewing course. I wouldn't have dreamed in a million years that I'd have wanted to do that, but I needed to know how to use a sewing machine, and I needed specifically to know how to do a straight stitch. That's all. I paid £40 to go on a course. It was run by the Borough Council, so perhaps there's a discount anyway, but 40 quid to go on a course, and it was a 10-week course, a couple of hours on you know, a Thursday night or whatever. I only actually went to 6 of the classes, so you can do the maths yourself. And from that, within 7 years, I turned over £1 million in revenue. Now that's not, you know, £1 million even today is not a big amount of money. It's nothing like it was when, you know, 30 years ago when I was kind of in my 20s. But it's significant, you know. A lot of people are earning, what is it, an average of, you know, £28,000 a year. So to turn over like $1 million was a big thing for me personally. Now I'm not saying that to try and impress anyone. I'm not, you know, or even impress upon you. But the point is, I would not have made that revenue of £1 million had I not have taken a 40 quid sewing course. So how did I do it? I needed to know how to do a straight stitch, because in my mind I had an idea, and I used the principles in this book to try to develop the idea. I'll tell you what it was. You can look it up yourself. It was a 360 degrees reflector for cyclists and for runners and for, you know, school kids to put on the back of the rucksacks or whatever. And the idea was that it reflected from all around, so no matter where a vehicle was in relation to the cycle, or, you know, or the person carrying one of these reflectors, that they would be seen. The other idea is that it moved as well, it swung. I got the idea whilst I was running. I was behind my wife, she is now, and she has long hair, and her hair was bobbing all over, and I don't know, I was thinking reflectivity at the time, and I thought, you know, a reflector that moves is not a bad idea. So I called it Movo Bright, and I made about 300, 400, I think about 350 altogether of these, and I took them to the cycle show. It was an exhibition in the NEC in Birmingham, and I took my friend who's a marketer called Phil Connell, so verifiable story, you know. He came along with me. We got the photos, I'll put them in the description or whatever here somewhere, a link to those photos, and we sold the Movo Bright, and we sold out. We sold every single one, and that was a Friday to Sunday show down at the NEC. So I came home and said to my then fiance, I said, look, you know, I can't, like, now or never. And she said, Lee, do it. Go in and hand your notice in to the council. And that's exactly what I did. The Monday morning I went in and I sat with my boss and I said, I'm done. You know, I'm done. They asked me to stay another month, which obviously I honoured. I think it was part of the contract anyway. And then from that moment, so that was about 2011, I incorporated Ahead Solutions in 2012. And then that was it. There's absolutely no looking back. It was phenomenal. Now, I always say that if I knew back then what I know now, I might never have left the job, because there are hurdles along the way. It's difficult, you know, it's not always easy. But if you've got an idea, if you've got something that you think is a good idea, an improvement to a way of doing things or a product or a service, work on it. You know, I mean, I never take my GOALBAND off, never. It's there first thing in the morning. I don't sleep with it actually, so that was a bit of a lie. But it's there as soon as I wake up in the morning, and oftentimes I take my goal cards out of this and I read them through and I think about that for the day. I've always got goals in this bracelet. In fact, if ever anything happens to me and the paramedic take that out, they'll wonder what the hell's going on. But yeah, so it all started with 13 principles in this book, an idea, and a 40 quid sewing course that was run by the Borough Council. 40 quid, and I went to 6 of the lessons, learned how to do a straight stitch, and I made 200 or 300 of these Movo Bright reflectors, took them to market, left my job. The rest is history. I remember a few years ago now, when I'd gone past the kind of £1 million revenue threshold, I took my daughter and my wife out and we sat and we enjoyed like a meal just to celebrate in a restaurant near to where I live, and it was lovely. You know, it was a really nice thing, paid for by the business, of course. Profits are better than wages, Jim Rohn used to say. So yeah, so obviously the profits paid for that. So thanks very much for watching anyway. So it's not about trying to impress anyone. GOALBAND isn't really about that. GOALBAND is about, it's a serious concept. If you've got a goal, you need to write it down. That is the first step in taking something from the intangible, you know, that's come to you as an impulse, and get it written down and in one of these before that law of diminishing intent starts to erode that goal, because that's what it's going to do, and then you just get into the failure cycle. So have a look on the GOALBAND website. It's goalband.co.uk and see what you think. But I'm telling you, write your goal down, keep it on your wrist. You'll never forget your goal. You're always thinking about it. You're always thinking about how can you take action? How can you improve on what you've done so far? When's the best time to make your next move? Ultimately, if you're in a job, you know, hopefully you'll get to leave your job just as I did. And there's that sense of freedom. That is amazing, absolutely amazing feeling. So thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself, keep your goals alive, and I'll speak to you again soon.